everyone. Today our team is going to explain you about 백제 and 풍납토성. And I'm going to tell you about the history and culture about 백제. First, let me explain the Three Kingdoms period. The Three Kingdoms period was around the 1st century BC when 백제, 신라, and 고구려 existed within the Korean peninsula. Eventually, Sinla succeeded unifying the Three Kingdoms and later became the late Three Kingdoms period. During the Three Kingdoms, I will introduce you about 백제. 백제 was founded by Onjo with his servants. Onjo was originally the son of Jumo, who founded 고구려. However, when Jumo's son, who had been born in the old days, returned to his throne, Onjo led his brother Biryu and their servants and established their own country. Onjo took the side of the river and Biryu took the shore. However, the kingdom founded by Biryu soon collapsed and the people of Biryu came to Onjo's country. At this time, the kingdom of Onjo was called Shipje, meaning 10 servants, but when it became more crowded, it changed its name to Baekje. Baekje was the earliest of the three kingdoms to reach its peak. However, after the heyday of Baekje, the area near the Han River was gradually weakened when it was taken away by other countries and eventually collapsed by the Sinla and Tang allied forces. The reason why I explain Baekje is that 몽촌토성 and 풍납토성 are Baekje culture assets. 풍납토성 and 몽촌토성 are Baekje culture assets, and it is because of the discovery of Baekje artifacts from Saturn. The excavated artifacts suggest that the area surrounding Saturn was the capital of Baekje Hanseong. It is protected by covering an important place with Saturn. The relics of Baekje reveal is a lot of unique culture for it. The characteristic of Baekje's culture assets were that they were based on Baekje's rich economy and left a culture that showed outstanding artistic skills while embracing advanced Chinese culture. As I mentioned earlier, Baekje had a very favorable condition for the trade of the Han River. Baekje influenced many neighboring countries on favorable terms. Not only did it affect them, Baekje was also affected by neighboring cultures. Therefore, Baekje's culture assets contain not only its culture. Some of the representative culture assets of Baekje include the royal tomb of King Muryong and the Geumdong Daeanglo. Also, Baekje introduced its culture to other countries such as Japan with its excellent trade skills. Among them are Chiljido with King Gunchogo, who was the king of Baekje, granted to the King of Japan. There are many other special cultural assets of Baekje.
You can see the culture of Baekje near where I live. These are 몽촌토성 and 풍납토성, and I will introduce these two hidden sites. First of all, 몽촌토성 is historic site number 297. It is located inside the Olympic Park in Seoul. In the 1980s, it was excavated with Seokcheondong ancient tombs to build the Olympic Stadium. Next, I'll tell you about the castle. The castle is about 2.7 kilometers in circumference. Most of the time, it uses natural hills and applies artificial colors such as building dirt or cutting steep slopes as needed, so the shape of the castle is irregular. This can be found on Munsan-to성. In the northeastern part of the fortress ring, the natural defense line was formed, while wooden walls were installed at the top of the northern outer slopes and outer fortresses, while soil was carved into the eastern outer slopes to speed up the slope and moats. Subsequently, there are 9 passages that go in and out of the castle, which are presumed to be gate sites. Various artifacts from Baekje were excavated here in Muncheon-to성, and the location, size, and status of the fortress suggest that Baekje had high political, military, and cultural importance. Next, I'll introduce 풍납토성. Located along the Han River, it is the largest earthen fortification site in the Han River basin. The first discovery was made in 1925 during a flood when the western wall was destroyed. The interior of the castle remains private. Excavation has led to the discovery of many Baekje relics and artifacts, and to this day, the investigation is still ongoing and is drawing attention due to their achievements. Next, I'll tell you about the extension of castle. The walls were minced, and sand was piled one layer by one on a stone-free plain. In the east, there are 4 signs that are thought to be gates. The academic community believes the Baekje, which built the fortress at the time, already established a large-scale national system based on the size of the period of its construction. Building a castle of this size requires a huge amount of labor. In other words, Baekje was a country that could be built over a long period of time with its own manpower. Seoul is a long-standing historical city. Therefore, there are many historical sites left in Seoul, including 풍납토성 and muncheon-to성. In the 1980s, thousands of relics were collected by excavating Muncheon-to성 Fortress and Seokcheon-dong ancient tombs. In 1997, tens of thousands of relics were excavated through excavations and surveys of 풍납토성 Fortress. The collected artifacts are on display at the Hansong Baekje Museum. The Hansong Baekje Museum is designed to shed new light on the historical experience and cultural historical value of Seoul, an international city, by promoting the fact that Seoul was first capital of Baekje and was a 500-year-old capital city to bloom ancient culture from prehistoric times. The Hansong Baekje Museum displays a lot of historical contents about Baekje and artifacts from Baekje, helping to understand Baekje. In the lobby of the museum, you can see sections of the wall of 풍납토성 Fortress. This allows you to see the process and significance of the wall. In the first exhibition hall, Seoul's Paleolithic culture, Neolithic culture, Bronze Age, and early Iron Age culture were arranged in accordance with the ancient Han River basin. In the second exhibition hall, you can learn about the history of Hansong, which is main city of Baekje. It included not only the central culture of Baekje, but also the local culture and related cultures of the Chinese continent and the Japanese archipelago. In the third exhibition hall, it deals with the history of Baekje after the fall of Hansong and the 3 kingdoms of Baekje, Goguryeo, and Silla. It introduces the location and historical significance of Goguryeo and Silla relics remaining in Seoul, and displays the history of the late Baekje kingdom, which redevelops national power in Ujin and Sabi after losing Hansong. One of the most famous artifacts excavated from 풍납토성 Fortress is a convex roof and tile. The convex roof and tiles were used not only in Baekje, but also in Silla and Goguryeo, and can also be found in buildings during the Joseon dynasty. Goguryeo's convex roof and tiles have many designs of lotus flowers, and their leaves are pointed and somehow lively. Baekje also used the form of lotus flowers, and the difference is that the petals are white and shallow, In addition, Picture's watercat bird designs are almost identical to those of Japanese watercat birds, proving that Picture passed on the recipe to Japan at the time, which is also confirmed by ancient records. During the Three Kingdoms period, there were two types of convex roofing tiles, imitating the designs of Goguryeo and Baekje, but in the later phase, the unique patterns of Shilla were mixed. The roofing tiles of the unified Shilla period show a more splendid appearance. During the Joseon dynasty, the design of the convex roofing tiles were simplified, but the shape changed. Next, you can see the soil pipes excavated from the hydrotrophic reservoirs. It is made of soil and is presumed to be a sewer pipe. This artifact is cylindrical with a hole in the middle and is made by cutting the surface smooth. Next, there is a bronze candle which was used for cooking with a big beaker-shaped container made of 3 legs and a handle. Finally, you can see pottery from Baekje. This was used at the same time as the beginning of the Iron Age and was used until the late Iron Age. There are traces of scratches on the surface with tools. It is also believed to have been used to store food. So far, we have explored Baekje's beautiful old art culture in 풍납토성 and 몽촌토성. And I think it was a great opportunity to learn about Baekje again. Also, it was more interesting to be able to see the historical sites nearby. I hope you had a great time too, and thank you for listening.